We are back for yet another episode of the world's most boring day trader. I'm Raghee Horner, your world's most boring day trader, and we are going to take a look at crude oil. A lot of interesting things happening in crude, not the least of which is some day trading that's happening and a correction on the daily time frame. So let's talk about everything that we have going on with the OPEC meeting tomorrow. So tomorrow OPEC is going to decide whether or not they're going to decrease output by 2 million barrels per day. So that's the level that's discounted. That's the level that sent prices higher. A decrease of output, which means less supply hitting the market. 2 million is what we've calibrated to, we meaning collectively the crude oil market. And that means tomorrow, if the output decrease is greater than 2 million, we have another leg higher. If the output decrease is at 2 million, we'll probably have some volatility and maybe a little bit of weakness, but probably stabilize inside the wave somewhere between 88 and a quarter and 84 and a quarter on crude oil. This is the X or November contract, by the way, that we're looking at. And if, for whatever reason, output is decreased by less, significantly less, maybe 1 million, maybe 1.5 million, we'll probably see a sell-off because that 2 million that was discounted in terms of anticipating that number, we'll have to recalibrate to that smaller output decrease. So you might think, well, an output decrease is bullish. No, not if we've calibrated to 2 million. So remember, what have we priced in? 2 million barrel per day output decrease, less supply. Two interesting stories happening here, and this is where I love day trading on the 5-minute time frame, but also like to keep an eye on the daily. So we're going to talk about both in this update. So let's talk about the world's most boring day trade. And it really was a boring one for a very long period of time, but here's the setup. The trend before the open was up. Here's a really simple tip. Respect the trend that was. If we see a neutral market trend, neutral market, choppy, consolidating, whatever it is, look at the trend that preceded it and define whether it was up or down. The probability that we will continue in that direction is higher than the probability of a reversal. So my trading approach is whenever I have a neutral market, look at the kind of market that preceded the neutral, and remember that continuation is a higher probability expectation than a reversal. In this case, we stalled out within the 34 EMA wave. That's support. We stalled out, as you can see here, it's a really nice support zone. It's a very nice support zone. I think what's also interesting is that we had if you think about the way in which the crude oil market works, I mean, do we have to always think about 930 as the most important start point for crude? The answer is no. Frankly, it's really easy to look at crude, especially the U.S. reaction to crude from about 7 o'clock on. 7 to 9:30 would be the pre-market day trading window, that 2.5 hour window. And through that window, this is that trend that was, gang. That's the uptrend that we basically are still going to be influenced by at 9:30 and into the morning session. The other thing that I like to note is since 7 a.m., what kind of volume opinion have we seen? So this is an anchor to 7 a.m. standard deviation of the volume weighted average price. Once we sort of stabilized, what happened? Take a look. Where's the support? Well, it's clearly above the mean, right? We got to the mean and even below the mean, which is not necessarily a break, right? But we did get below it. Here you can see dip below it around 9:55, dip below it just a little bit at 10:05, but just a bit below it. Look at what was accompanying those tests of the mean. Now, why would I think about the mean? Because of back in here. So here we are back in that zone. Here we are back in the wave. And that was just a buy. I never want to be alone in my trade idea. How do I know I'm not alone? We've got volume. We've got volume with the trade. Whether that be volatility by way of the hourly price movement range, whether that be the trend that was, this was a buy or nothing. And this was a long position we took in the room. So more importantly, this wasn't something that I'm talking about with you now. This was something that we took this morning. Long position. And, look, I was expecting it to sort of trickle higher because, well, why not? Because that's the trend that has been dominant. Instead, and this is where I'd rather be lucky than good, boom, we get that news about the 2 million output decrease. Crude heads up higher, and immediately we went ahead and scaled out of USO calls, micro crude oil futures, full-size crude oil futures, whatever our different traders chose to take, scaled out of that. Hey, I will never, ever, ever not take advantage of that. We were already long. News hits the airwaves. We take advantage of it. And that was pretty much what we looked to do, and that was a great trade this morning. But in the meanwhile, let's take a look at the daily, because I want to do something completely different on the daily. Crude is in a downtrend. And while we are going to see likely a 2 million or so output decrease, we're still in the wave. We're still in a downtrend. And one way to take advantage of this tomorrow would be with puts on the CL, long put, so you can define your risk by what you paid for the put. So a directional debit. And another thing would be puts in USO after the bell, presuming we're still in the wave. But I'll be looking for a short tomorrow on crude. I'll be looking for a continuation of the trend. And yes, it may move like it did last time. But again, let's use that same logic that I shared with you on the intraday trade. What was the trend that preceded the chop? It was down. So why would I presume a reversal? I won't, right? And what happened? You guessed it, the downtrend resumed. So why not presume the trend is still going to be intact? I'm not going to presume a trend reversal, even though there's a lot of bullishness surrounding crude. Bottom line is this is a regression to the mean, right? It's a retracement of the downtrend. So the only thing, well, the only two things to do would be flat, and that's fine, or day trade it, right? Just don't be committed to overnight trades, or look for a trend following short. I'm going to do the latter. We'll day trade in the meanwhile, swing trade, trend following trade on the end of day. Hope that helps. As always, if you have any questions, leave them below. Leave the comments, questions, what have you. What is your position in crude? What are you looking at as we go into the OPEC meeting tomorrow? Think of OPEC as the central bank for crude, gang, because that is what it is. And then also, how are you ensuring that you're not the only one with the trade idea? Because remember, like a surfer, we have to surf the wave. We just can't paddle out into the ocean and say, all right, time to surf. Surf's got to be up. In many ways, volume is exactly what we're looking for. We need to see not just our trade out there, but we need to see size at levels that would ensure we have a higher likelihood of resistance. In the premium video gang, we're going to dive into other ways we can use volume to take a look at where that selling pressure may come in on crude, what we might do on names like XLE and Exxon, as well as what does this mean for RBOB and unleaded gas. And then also, is there a trade in, say, natural gas, looking at the energy complex and maybe some of the stocks within XOP and FCG, which are more natural gas oriented stocks. Lots of exciting things coming up for energy. I'll see you all in the next update and in Charts and Coffee tomorrow, 9 a.m. right here at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. Be good to each other, gang. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.